Hey guys, and welcome to Cardi's Kitchen. On the menu today, a simple sweet potato pudding. Let's go. Alright, so here are all of our ingredients. We have 2 pounds of sweet potato, 1.5 cup of sugar, 2 cups of fine cornmeal, 1 cup of flour. In here we have 2 teaspoons cinnamon powder, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons unsalted butter. Here we have 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla, 1.5 teaspoon of almond or rosewater. Then we added a tablespoon of white rum and a tablespoon of red label wine. Both are optional. You can choose to put it or not. Then we're gonna move on to our milk. We have the coconut milk from Trader Joe's and we have the evaporated milk. Here we have it, all the ingredients. Alright, so here I have my 2 potatoes which I have already washed and is ready to peel. I'm just gonna go ahead and dry them off a bit before I peel them. These potatoes are called the Murasaki potatoes. I got them from my Trader Joe's. These were the ones that were available in my area. You want to use a potato that's on the drier side. You don't want to use the potato that they use to make sweet potato pie at Thanksgiving time. That potato will give your pudding the wrong texture and also the wrong taste. I finished with that potato and I'm going to go ahead and peel this one and I'll be right back. Okay, so here I have finished peeling the potatoes. I went ahead and washed them again and cut them into smaller chunks so I could grater the potatoes. I chose to grater the potatoes just because. However, you can go ahead and use a food processor if you have one. You can also use your blender or your NutriBullet, whichever float your boat. I'm gonna go ahead and finish gratering these potatoes and I'll be right back. Alright, so these are all the wet ingredients. We're going to go ahead and combine all those ingredients along with the sugar and salt. I like to add the sugar and salt in at this step just because it allows me to taste the mixture before I add it to the dry ingredients, just in case I need to make any adjustments to the salt or sugar. For this recipe, I used 5 cups of milk. I used a combination of coconut milk and also evaporated milk. I ended up using 2 cans of coconut milk and 1 can of evaporated milk for this recipe. You can add 3 coconut milks if you want, 5 cups of coconut milk. It works either way. Now we're gonna add in our little mix of vanilla, white rum, almond rosewater, and the red label wine. After the sugar is added, I'm going to go ahead and add the salt. I'm going to give it a mix and then taste the mixture afterwards just to make sure that it's up to my liking. Next, we'll combine all the dry ingredients. Now we're going to move on to our dry ingredients. Here I have a mesh strainer that I'm going to use to sift through our flour, cornmeal, and other dry ingredients just to make sure that we remove any clumps that may be in our dry mixture. Now that we have sifted all of our ingredients, we're gonna go ahead and give that a stir. You wanna make sure that we combine all the dry ingredients as best as possible. When you're finished, it should look like one mixture. Now we're gonna combine our wet ingredients with our dry ingredients. We're gonna combine these ingredients gradually, just so we eliminate any pockets of flour that may form in our mixture. To make the batter more watery or thin, you can go ahead and add another cup or a half cup of coconut milk. This will just eliminate any cracks on top of your pudding while it's baking. Now that we have combined our wet and dry ingredients, we're gonna go ahead and add our sweet potato and also our butter to our mixture. I'm gonna add the sweet potato. However, I'm gonna add the sweet potato gradually just so we could completely combine all the mixture. We can have more of a smooth mixture when we're pouring it into our pans. Alright, so finally time to pour our mixture into our pans. I used 2 baking pans for this mixture. I went ahead and greased the pans already with just some butter on a paper, just mix it in. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill these 2 pans to get them ready to be baked. So we're gonna bake these in the oven for about an hour and a half at 350 degrees. Okay, so here we have gathered a few ingredients that we're gonna use to make the gel top. We have some sugar, some coconut milk, some cinnamon, and some vanilla. We're gonna combine that well together and set it aside to be placed on the pudding later on. So we're gonna place this mixture on top of the pudding when it's the last 15 minutes left of bake time for the pudding. So another option is to save some of the liquid mixture from earlier to be used to create the gel top at this point. However, I like to make a complete new mixture just because I make this mixture a little bit sweeter than I would for the pudding. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes since I placed the puddings in the oven. Here I'm just doing a bake test to see if my puddings are almost baked. Usually a rule of thumb, if it's starting to leave the sides, it's almost baked. So I'm gonna go ahead and place my little mixture on the top to create the gel top. The mixture that I have is for 1 pudding. You would have to double that mixture if you want to place gel top on both pudding. Now, after an hour and 30 minutes of bake time, we're finally done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.